Kumusta? Magandang araw. Ako si Reymund. Hello everyone. Good day. I'm Reymund and welcome to my channel. Our lesson for today is all about using my and mayroon. Okay, using my and mayroon or meron. Let us remember, tandaan natin, that sentences with the words may and mayroon or meron point to the existence or possession of things. Moreover, both can mean there is or there are, and it also means has or have. But the two cannot be used interchangeably. The first one here is we have the word may. May is followed immediately by a noun, either in the subject predicate or inverted order sentence. This is to show possession or existence. We have here an example or halimbawa. Ako ay may kaibigan sa Quezon City, which means I have a friend in Quezon City, which when we say kaibigan, that means friend. Ako ay may kaibigan sa Quezon City. Another example is, may kaibigan ako sa Quezon City. Or, I have a friend in Quezon City. Ako ay may kaibigan sa Quezon City or may kaibigan ako sa Quezon City. Another example or halimbawa we have here, kami ay may bahay sa lungsod ng Maynila. Kami ay may bahay sa lungsod ng Maynila. When we say kami, that means we. And then bahay is house, and then lungsod ng Maynila is the city of Manila or Manila City. So we have a house in Manila City. Another example is may bahay kami sa Manila City. May bahay kami sa Manila City. Next is we have the word may. Another definition or thing that we'll have to remember here is that may is followed immediately by an adjective or numeral in either type of word, order sentence, which also is used to indicate possession or existence. So we have here an example, siya ay may magandang bahay. Siya ay may magandang bahay. When we say siya in English, in Tagalog, that is gender neutral, so it either means he or she. So, siya ay may magandang bahay. He or she has a nice house. Another example, ikalawang halimbawa here is, may dalawang aso sa kulungan. When we say dalawa, that means two, and then aso is a dog, and then a kulungan is a cage. Or it can also mean a prison. May dalawang aso sa kulungan. There are two dogs in the cage. Siya ay may magandang bahay. May dalawang aso sa kulungan. Another use of may is when we are referring to more than one thing in possession or in existence. May is followed immediately by the word mga, then the noun. Example here is, may mga punong kahoy sila. May mga punong kahoy sila. When we say punong kahoy, it means trees. And then sila stands for they. May mga punong kahoy sila. Ikalawang halimbawa is, may mga tao sa labas. That means there are people outside. May mga tao sa labas. Tao is people, and then when we say labas, that means outside. May mga tao sa labas. Another one is that may is followed immediately by a verb to indicate the existence of someone or something. We have here an example, may natutulog na tao sa silid. May natutulog na tao sa silid. We have the word natutulog, the root word or the salitang ugat is tulog, which means sleep, and then tao is a person, and then silid means a room. May natutulog na tao sa silid, or there is a person sleeping in the room. Another use of meron is we have This is followed by the monosyllabic words like ka, na, nang, pa, ba, din, and daw. So ligatures or linkers are then attached to the monosyllabic words nearest to the nouns or adjectives. And meron can be shortened to meron. Like what I've mentioned earlier, meron is the shortened form of mayroon. Ayan, so mayroon or meron. We have here an example or halimbawa, mayroon pang trabaho si Juan. Mayroon pang trabaho si Juan. In English, this means one still has a job. Mayroon pang trabaho si Juan. Next is, meron ka bang bagong aklat? Meron ka bang bagong aklat? In English, this means, do you have a new book? Meron ka bang bagong aklat? Meron pang trabaho si Juan. And the other example or halimbawa is, meron ka bang bagong aklat? Another use of meron means has or have in English. And another use is, another thing to remember is that meron is followed by a personal pronoun such as ako, ka, tayo, kami, kayo, and sila in inverted sentences to indicate the possession. And the linker ng is attached to these pronouns as they end in vowels. So that is one thing that we'll have to remember if we are using meron in a sentence. So we have here another thing to note is that to change a may sentence into a meron sentence, simply rearrange the may plus noun plus the possessive pronoun sequence into a meron plus the possessive pronoun and the ng sequence or our linker ng. Let us have the following examples. May bahay kami sa Manila. May bahay kami sa Manila. So, bahay is a house. And then in English, this translates to we have a house in Manila. May bahay kami sa Manila. Another example is meron kaming bahay sa Manila or Maynila. Meron kaming bahay sa Manila. This means we have a house in Manila. Okay? May bahay kami sa Maynila. Mayroon kaming bahay sa Maynila. Another use of meron is that this alone is an answer to a question. So the word meron or mayroon alone is an answer to a sentence already. So the word oo, which means yes in English, at the start of a sentence, as well as the noun or pronoun after meron is just optional. Okay, so we have here an example. May bagong sapatos ba si Bob? And then you can answer meron. Oo, meron siya. Or you can just say meron. Merong sapatos si Bob. Meron siyang bagong sapatos. Okay, again, the question is, may bagong sapatos ba si Bob? And then you can answer with, oo, meron siya. Oo, meron siyang bagong sapatos. Another thing to note with meron is that the ma prefix is attached to root words to form other words and is actually a contracted form of may. For example, marami, mataas, and malinis. Ayan, so these are our examples. We have here another thing is that in short, with abstract nouns ma, which means there is or there are, with concrete nouns ma, it means having many such as mabuto. Buto is bones, and then when we say mabuto, it's bony. Another one is the use of wala, which means there is or there are no, or do or does not have, or also none. Wala. So to negate the existence or possession of a thing, replace may and meron with the word wala, which contradicts possession or existence. So when we say meron, there is. When we say wala, there's none. Wala. So wala means none on its own or as a response to a meron question. Okay, another thing is that wala changes there is or there are into there is or there are no, and it changes has or have into does not have or do not have. Okay, that is the function of the word wala. Wala is used at the beginning of a sentence and is followed by a possessive pronoun or a monosyllabic word. So our linker ng is added to the pronoun or word that comes after it. We have here an example or halimbawa, wala akong kaibigan sa Quezon. Wala akong kaibigan sa Quezon, which means I have no friend in Quezon. Ayan, wala akong kaibigan sa Quezon. Another halimbawa here is wala silang mga punong kahoy. Wala silang mga punong kahoy. When we say wala, this sentence means they do not have trees. Kasi earlier we mentioned that punong kahoy is a tree and then the word wala means none. So, they do not have trees. Another example is wala pang bagong aklat. Wala pang bagong aklat. In English, this means there is no new book yet. Wala pang bagong aklat. So when we say aklat, that means book. And when we say bago, that's new. Wala pang bagong aklat. Next halimbawa is wala nang trabaho si Lucio. Wala nang trabaho si Lucio. Or in English, this means Lucio does not have a job now. Wala nang trabaho si Lucio. The use of wala, another one, is that wala with the linker ng is used before numerals or adjectives, and also with nouns, and then the article mga, and also with verbs. So we have here an example, walang dalawang aso sa kulungan. Walang dalawang aso sa kulungan. When we say dalawa, that means two. And then like what we've mentioned earlier, aso is a dog and a kulungan is a cage or a prison. Walang dalawang aso sa kulungan. Sunod na halimbawa ay walang tao sa labas. Walang tao sa labas. This means there is no one outside. Walang tao sa labas. Next is walang mga tao sa labas. Walang mga tao sa labas. And then another thing that we have to remember is that, like what I've mentioned earlier, is that we have the word mga. So mga makes the noun plural. It makes a noun plural. So walang mga tao sa labas, mga tao. When we say tao, that's singular. But when we say mga tao, that's plural. So walang mga tao sa labas. Next is walang natutulog na tao sa silid. No one is sleeping in the room. Walang natutulog na tao sa silid. Walang natutulog na tao sa silid. Another use of wala is that by itself is a negative response to a question using may or meron and means none. Okay, we have here another thing is that hindi is an incorrect answer to this type of question. So if the question is may or meron, if you'll respond with hindi, that is an incorrect answer. But of course, when we say hindi, that also means no or none, something like that. Okay, next, wala also changes a positive question into a negative one. We have here an example or halimbawa, may kotse ba sila? Do they have a car? Kotse is a car. And then, like if you want to answer that with none, you say wala. And hindi is an incorrect answer for this. May kotse ba sila? Wala. Wala silang kotse. Another one is, meron ka pa bang pagkain? Meron ka bang pagkain? Meron ka bang pagkain? When you say pagkain, that's food. And then if like you answer none, you say or no, wala. That's all for today. Maraming salamat for watching this video. Once again, I'm Reymund and I hope you learned something new.